Here are the headlines for Monday afternoon, August 12, 2024. Biden's Freudian slip. If Trump wins, there'll be no peaceful transfer of power. President Joe Biden expressed doubt about a peaceful transfer of power if former President Donald Trump wins the election in 2024. During an interview with CBS News, Biden said he was not confident there would be a peaceful transition if Trump won, before quickly correcting himself to say that he meant he would not be confident if Trump lost. This statement has been interpreted by some as a revealing Freudian slip, suggesting that Biden may be concerned about his own legitimacy in the event of a Trump victory. United States gymnast Jordan Chiles must return bronze medal, Olympic Committee says. American gymnast Jordan Chiles must return the bronze medal she won in the women's floor exercise at the Paris Olympics after the sport's highest court rejected an appeal by her coach that had vaulted her to third place over Romanian gymnast Ana Barbus. The International Olympic Committee stated that it will reallocate the bronze medal to Barbosu, and Chiles must return the medal after the Court of Arbitration for Sport voided the appeal due to being made outside the allotted time window. Putin says there will be no peace talks with Ukraine as 180,000 citizens evacuated amid invasion. Ukraine's military has taken control of 28 towns and villages in Russia's Kursk border region, prompting a sixth of its population to flee the incursion, according to an official statement. The Ukrainian forces have penetrated at least 12 kilometers into Russia and control a border area at least 40 kilometers wide, with over 120,000 people leaving their homes and 60,000 more waiting to be evacuated. President Vladimir Putin has issued his first detailed public statement since the incursion began, stating that there will be no peace talks or settlement with Kiev, citing Ukraine's willingness to strike civilians and nuclear facilities as a reason for this decision. Trump posts on X in big return ahead of unscripted interview with Elon Musk. Former President Donald Trump is set to appear in an unscripted interview with Elon Musk on the X platform tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. The conversation will be live streamed without any limits on subject matter, making it highly anticipated and potentially entertaining. This comes after Musk publicly endorsed Trump following an assassination attempt at one of his rallies. Despite typically supporting Democrats, Musk has declared war on the woke mind virus and Marxism pushed by the party, aligning himself with Trump's views on law and order and secured borders. The interview is expected to be a significant event in the next generation media landscape, potentially paving the way for presidential debates to be held on X. Homebuyers get creative amid historically high property values. The current real estate market is challenging for buyers who are not extremely wealthy, with high interest rates, international uncertainty, and an upcoming election contributing to unease. All cash deals have an advantage in this market due to faster application processes, easier closings, and reduced concerns about bank rejections. However, there are still affordable opportunities available in virtually every city and state for buyers who show flexibility regarding property types and financing terms. Options include considering townhouses or condo units instead of single-family homes, buying a property to rent out, and using the revenue to pay off the mortgage, working with lenders offering low to no down payment loans, and seeking out properties in need of renovation that can be purchased at a lower price. Dr. Fauci admits he's infected with CEO-VID for third time after being vaccinated and boosted 6 times. Dr. Anthony Fauci has revealed that he contracted CEO-VID-19 for the third time despite being vaccinated and boosted 6 times. He expressed gratitude to the vaccine, stating it protected him from severe symptoms. However, his previous statements in 2021 claiming that vaccinated individuals are protected from infection have been proven false. Social media users reacted with skepticism, questioning the effectiveness of the vaccine and Fauci's continued endorsement of it despite contracting the virus multiple times. Harris campaign said Waltz chaired Veterans Affairs. He did not. The Harris campaign issued a statement defending Minnesota Gov. Tim Waltz's military record after Republicans began scrutinizing it. However, the statement incorrectly claimed that Waltz had chaired Veterans Affairs in Congress. In reality, Waltz was the ranking member of the committee from 2017 to 2018. The error was attributed to an innocent mistake by staff. This is not the first time Waltz has been accused of misrepresenting his record, with Republicans claiming he dropped out of the Army before a unit he led deployed to Iraq and overstated his role in Congress. Trump to sue Department of Justice for $100 million over Mar-a-Lago raid. Former President Donald Trump is set to sue the Department of Justice for $100 million in damages over the August 8, 2022 raid on his Mar-a-Lago property in Palm Beach, Florida. The lawsuit will claim tortious conduct by the United States against President Trump, arguing that it was done with a clear intent to engage in political persecution. These 6 drivers are gone, and that's why the global economy is toast. The global economy is facing a severe downturn due to the reversal or dissipation of 6 one-off drivers that previously propelled growth: China's industrialization, favorable demographics, low-cost labor, abundant natural resources, unprecedented monetary policy easing, and an artificial intelligence-driven technological revolution. The downside slide into recession and polycrisis collapse is not as fun as the boost phase, with hyper-centralized, hyper-connected, hyper-globalized, and hyper-financialized economies experiencing extreme fragility. Those who end up with collapsing currencies will experience hyperinflation, while those who manage to wallow in deflation will experience stagnation as the best-case scenario. Gaze into the data long enough, and you will see your own prejudices staring back at you. Friday saw equities recover from steep sell-offs earlier in the week and the preceding Friday. The SAM 500 and the NASDAQ both rose by around half a percentage point as markets continued to price out calls for large emergency rate cuts, but still have 38 basis points of cuts priced in for the September meeting. Michelle Bowman, a hawkish Federal Reserve governor, warned that inflation remains uncomfortably above the Fed's 2% target, and latent inflation risks make the case for caution. The key focus for markets this week will be Wednesday's release of the July Consumer Price Index report for the United States, with other important data releases including Producer Price Index, retail sales, and weekly jobless claims figures. KFC unveils finger-licking good meal deal as value wars heat up. Quick service restaurant chains such as McDonald's and Burger King have introduced meal deals to maintain market share amid a consumer downturn, especially among low and mid-tier consumers who have been frustrated by rising prices. KFC has also joined the trend with its own $5 meal deal, signaling an intensification of value wars in the quick service space. This move comes as corporate America warns about a worsening consumer slowdown, with mentions of consumer downturn spiking to record highs on earnings calls. The slowdown is attributed to depleted personal savings and maxed-out credit cards among low and mid-tier consumers who have reached their limit in absorbing price hikes due to elevated inflation and high interest rates under the Biden administration's economic policies. Markets need a lot more than a rate cut. The Federal Reserve's potential rate cuts do not necessarily signal a healthy economy, but rather a slowing one, which can lead to equities slumping despite the promise of lower interest rates. As investors continue to see lower buying pressure, most indices remain below their levels when markets started to weaken in July. The Nasdaq and SAM 500 were leading markets that had begun to slow down and pointed to lower highs and deeper lows. To gauge the next bullish wave of money growth, it is essential to pay attention to trends and analyze when the Fed may start a true easing path, being realistic about the current liquidity drying up. Diversity, equity, and inclusion litmus tests must end. Universities should not require diversity, equity, and inclusion statements as a condition for hiring or promotion, as these demands create ideological litmus tests that stifle academic freedom and critical thinking. The practice of mandating loyalty to DEI agendas is pervasive, with many universities requiring faculty job applicants to submit DEI statements, which can lead to discrimination against those who hold different views. This approach undermines the purpose of higher education, which is to foster intellectual inquiry, debate, and the pursuit of truth. America's mini-organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, major United States refiners/capacity amid global glut fears. potential United States refining cartel likened to a mini organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, may be emerging following a series of large mergers in the oil exploration and production space. Four major refiners, including Marathon Petroleum, PBF Energy, Phillips 66, and Valero Energy, which represent approximately 40% of the United States' capacity to refine oil into diesel, jet fuel, gasoline, and other essential crude products, plan to reduce refining capacity this quarter as demand falters and concerns about a global glut of crude mount. The refiners' coordinated policies to cut production could potentially weigh on balances and may add to crude builds in the United States for the rest of the year, contributing to a possible rise of the United States refining cartel. Medium-term inflation expectations tumble in NY Fed survey as spending growth pessimism rises. A closely watched New York Federal Reserve Consumer Survey revealed that median one-year ahead inflation expectations remained unchanged at 3% in July, while 5-year ahead inflation expectations also stayed the same at 2.8%. However, consumers' 3-year ahead inflation expectations fell by 0.6 of a percentage point to 2.3%, marking a new series low since June 2013. The survey also found that median home price growth expectations were unchanged at 3% in July, while year-ahead commodity price expectations declined for gas and food but rose for medical care, college education, and rent. This is in aid of the correction. Goldman flows guru still bearish stocks. For now, Goldman Sachs flow of funds guru Scott Rubner is reversing his bearish stance on the global macro environment and will turn tactically bullish on equities starting August 30th, having accurately predicted the top on July 17th. Key events this busy week: consumer price index, producer price index, retail sales. This week is expected to be macro-heavy, with the key focus being on United States inflation data, particularly the July Consumer Price Index CPI print on Wednesday, preceded by the Producer Price Index PPI data on Tuesday, and followed by retail sales on Thursday. The median economist forecast predicts a rise of 0.20% in both headline and core CPI, leaving annual headline CPI steady at 3.0%, with core ticking down to 3.2%. The upcoming inflation data will be crucial for the Federal Reserve's consideration of rate cuts, with several regional Fed presidents scheduled to speak this week, including Raphael Bostic on Tuesday and Patrick Harker on Thursday. Time to nibble choppy markets? The SAM 500 index has rebounded strongly from recent lows, but the entire upward move is largely due to one day's price action. The short-term resistance level to watch is 5,400 in SAM futures. Additionally, note that the 21-day moving average is crossing over the 50-day moving average as of writing. Goldman sees surge in stock buyback orders as volatility fades. 2 weeks ago, commodity trading advisors were forced to sell, resulting in near-record liquidations that sent the market tumbling and volatility soaring. However, this selling is now largely over, and corporate buying is just starting. As of today, 90% of companies are in an open buyback window, expected to rise to 93% by the end of the week, with this window set to run through at least September 6th, enabling billions in daily purchases.